This is what happens when woke takes go wrong. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the mayor of Chicago, Lori Lightfoot, alleging that the criticisms against her are because of her race and gender, or at least 99.9% of it. Not because of her on-the-job performance, not because she's promised certain things that have not come to fruition, not because of any of things you may think of. It's all about race and gender. Now, before I go any further, let's go ahead and get into the clip. In this clip, you'll see and hear from Lori Lightfoot herself. You'll also see and hear from someone in Chicago who does not agree with what Lori Lightfoot is saying. After we get done watching that, I'll come back. I'll talk about what was said there. Then I give you the rest of my 2 cents, my deep, detailed analysis, and then I'll wrap it on up with a nice bow on top. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Critics, some of them who are out there, are criticizing me because they don't like to see a woman assume power.
Mayor Lightfoot stirring emotions tonight with a recent interview.
She claims that 99% of her critics are motivated by sexism or racism.
But she's getting pushback tonight, as our political editor Mike Flannery reports.
A council member who had a public argument with the mayor at City Hall last week said that instead of attempting to discredit her critics, Lori Lightfoot should deal with them.
And it doesn't seem to be any compromise with her. It's her way or the highway. And that's not going to work for the citizens of the city.
The mayor told Chicago Tonight interviewer Phil Ponce the criticism she faces is born of sexism and racism.
About 99% of it.
Expand on that.
Well, I mean, look at my predecessors. Women and people of color are always held to a different standard. I understand that. I've known that my whole life.
Alderwoman Jeanette Taylor, though, says the incident during last week's council meeting highlights what is wrong with Lightfoot's approach.
The thought that she would walk from her seat to meet me at the gallery, stick her finger in my face and scream at me, that's not becoming of elected official. That's not, I would never in a million years treat her that way.
To convene a special meeting this Friday, a majority or 26 council members must show up. The mayor's office and her allies are trying to persuade a majority to stay away.
All right, so you saw that, you heard that. Now, this is hilarious to me, 100% hilarious. I'm going to get straight to the elephant in the room. How can she say that she's being targeted because she's a black woman, maybe even the whole LGBT, elemental PQRZ, maybe that as well? How can she say that when Chicago and Illinois are both notorious for corruption? Notorious. So if you're notorious for corruption, then that must mean that your predecessors have been criticized. Okay, you're talking about Rahm Emanuel, heavily criticized. Who else? She said Rich Daley criticized. Didn't the governor of their state get locked up? Rod Blagojevich, who was heavily involved in Chicago politics. Didn't he actually go to jail? He had to get pardoned by Trump to get released. He had done like almost 10 years or more in the penitentiary before Trump came in and intervened. So when you say that the criticisms against you are because of your race and gender, that's not true. And even beyond the state of Illinois, beyond the city of Chicago, how about in California, the governor, Gavin Newsom, white male, is being recalled, removed from office. And I think there was another governor in California that came in before Arnold, who also got recalled. And if I'm not mistaken, he was a white male as well. Let's go to New York City to talk about mayors rather than governors. Look at what's happening right now with Bill de Blasio. Heavily criticized. Mainstream media, left, right, everybody is on his back because they don't like the job that he's doing. A good way to avoid criticism, a good way to avoid anybody saying anything bad about you in the media, writing negative stories, is to perform well on the job. All right. Chicago is beautiful in certain places, but in other places, it's not beautiful. It's a mess, a big time mess. The gun violence is off the chain, and she wants to blame other states because the gun control is very tight in Chicago. That's not helping at all. You want to blame other states. that, you know, oh, we're importing guns into the city. Well, how about just tighten up on the crime, tighten up on what's happening. Don't try to blame external things for your crime problem. You are the mayor. You are in control. Well, you're part of the control apparatus. You got to tighten up what's going on rather than blaming the outside for the problems that you have. Okay. And, you know, the police need a lot of help. It's weird because Lori Lightfoot said she does not want to defund the police, yet you want to take $80 million away. And there was a headline, the funniest headline in the world. If I could find that, I'll place it on the screen before you, talking about Lori Lightfoot wants to remove $80 million from Chicago's police budget. Is this defunding the police? It's like, why would you ask if taking money away from the police is defunding them? Okay, if you're going to take $80 million away, what else could that be other than defunding? I mean, I was always taught that the prefix D means like to subtract, like defund, take money away, subtract money. If you're defunding or de-budgeting, I guess you would say $80 million, isn't that also defunding? Maybe I'm wrong about that. If I'm wrong about that, you guys let me know in the comments below, but I'll move on. Now, the whole race thing does not hold water because you saw the little altercation she had with that alderman. I think her name was what? Jeanette. I don't know her last name, but you guys from Chicago know more about that. So let me know in the comments. But there was a confrontation caught on camera with a lot of pictures, all these fingers in the face and, you know, angry expressions, all this, that, and the third. That was going on. This is a black woman. So you got two black women fighting over what's going on, an alderman in the city talking to the city mayor. So is that confrontation because of your gender? How can that be so? You're both women. Is it because of your race? How can that be so? You're both black. Maybe, just maybe, the criticism that you're getting is the same as what anyone else would get. Nobody cares about you being a black woman. Stop trying to hide behind that. Stop trying to hide behind this race stuff. I really don't understand why that is being used as a distraction. She also used that when it came to who she wants to speak to in the media, talking about, well, there's not enough black and brown folks in the press corps. I'll make it a priority to speak to black and brown people. That was a smokescreen for her just not wanting to talk to the media. Okay, she wants to have approved people to speak to. It's kind of like how North Korea or China does it. You don't want to speak to certain people. You just want to speak to those that are going to give you a favorable article. That's all that it is. So certain people from certain stations you don't want to talk to. Like, let's say it was Fox News and you had a black reporter over there that was going to interview you. Would you want to do that? I mean, let's say it was me. Let's say I was a journalist that you're going to give an interview to. Do you want to do that? Because I don't care what color you are. I don't care what you identify as. You can identify as a male, a female, a goldfish, a panda, a giraffe, a spotted owl. I don't care what you identify as. I'm going to ask you tough questions regardless of what's going on. If you have a crime problem in your city, hey, what's going on with the crime? If you got a lot of drugs going on, hey, what's going on with the drugs? If you are defunding the police or taking money away from the police and not calling it defunding, I'm going to ask you about that. It's like, okay, why are you defunding? Why are you reducing the budget? What's happening with your city? I'm fair across the board. Your identity is truly irrelevant. And isn't that what a guy back in the day, I forget the guy's name. You guys know what I'm talking about. Martin Luther King, was that his name? Yeah. You know, the whole content of the character, not color of the skin. That's pretty much how I operate. I don't care what race you are. I don't care what you identify as. Who are you beyond all that? That's what matters. And from what I'm seeing and what I'm reading, what I'm hearing, Chicago's not doing very well. So maybe let's speak to those that are in power about the problem. Race and gender and LGBT element, that has no bearing on the questions that you're going to be asked about your city. But as I close, I want to say this. I feel like this whole race argument is a way for people to just escape responsibility. It's not my fault. I didn't do it, blame the white man, blame the white media. They're painting me in an unfavorable way. They're attacking me. They didn't attack Rahm Emanuel this way. They didn't attack Rich Daley this way. They didn't attack Rod Blagojevich. Although he was not the mayor, he was a governor. They didn't attack him. Yeah, they put him in the penitentiary for like ever, but it doesn't matter. I'm unique because I'm a black woman. That's why I'm being attacked. It's bogus, as y'all say out there in Chicago. It's bogus. It's ridiculous. And I say, rather than crying about all this identity stuff, how about do a better job in the city? How about get the crime under control? How about that? But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about what Lori Lightfoot said? Is the criticism against her unjust? Is it because of her race and gender, maybe even LGBTQ LMNOP status? Whatever your thoughts on that are, let me know in the comments below. You guys pretty much know where I'm at. If you are doing a good job, you will be treated as such. Generally, unless there's like a political axe to grind. That's the bigger issue, is left, right, Democrat, Republican. That's the bigger issue. It's not about race at this particular point. Race is used as a weapon when it's convenient by certain people. That's what's going on with that. What's happening with Lori Lightfoot is that people who are probably leftists in their own city are not happy. They're not getting what they want. Whether they want some really woke stuff like a further police defunding, or whether they want some things to actually make a difference, like having better security, reducing the crime. Regardless of what they want, it's about that specific issue, not about you and your identity, Miss Lori Lightfoot. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.